What's going on, Nimians, and welcome back to NimTV. I am your host, Nimage, and we're here to talk about Bojack Horseman Season 5. So if you haven't been up to date on what's going on in my channel the past 4 days, every day I've uploaded a review of each season of the Netflix original series, Bojack Horseman, which is actually my favorite Netflix original series. If you haven't seen it yet, please do yourself a favor and go watch it. It's actually really great. Like, genuinely, this show is just amazing. Yeah, this is going to be somewhat of a spoiler-free review of this season. So there might be spoilers for the other seasons, just because some of the things I might be talking about you might have to have the context of what's going on in the other seasons. But so, like, let's say you watched the other seasons and you're not sure if you want to watch season 5 yet, and you know you want to watch this video as a way to see if you want to see it spoiler-free, stuff like that. So there you go. Anyway, so Season 5, here we go. I'm not going to get into a huge context of what's going on in the other seasons and stuff. If you want to, you can go back. I have the playlist right here in the description if you want to go back and watch my other Bojack Horseman reviews. They're a different style. I actually scripted them and stuff. This one I didn't script. This is a one-off thing where I'm just going boom, boom, first thoughts kind of thing, like my normal movie reviews are. So, we're doing that. And, here we go. So, Season 5 is pretty good. I like Season 5 a lot. I'm not hugely fond of it compared to the other seasons. So, Season 4 up to this point is probably my favorite season. Then maybe like Season 3, then Season 2, then Season 1. Which is interesting because, in my opinion anyways, and now every season is great. I love the whole show. But in my opinion, the seasons kind of gradually got better. So you had Season 1, which was pretty good. A really good setup for the show. And then Season 2 was even better, and then Season 3 just really hit hard with a lot of things. And then Season 4 just came out like, even though, you know, Season 3 it seemed like you couldn't really top that, Season 4 kind of did, in my opinion anyways. And really showcased a lot of really good, interesting things. And then you come to Season 5, which is where we're at now, which I like, but I don't love. Compared to the other ones. Well, I mean, I do love it still, but it's not as much. Like, it's like I'm watching it and I notice sort of, I don't know, like I feel like it didn't have as poignant of like as many poignant moments. That's one thing I love about the Bojack Horseman series is there's always those poignant moments, those moments that stick with you, that are strong, that are sort of built up throughout the rest of the season or whatever. And then you hit some strong, poignant moment that really sticks with you, and you remember it. It really, yeah. This one doesn't have as many of those, or at least not as strong of those. It does have a lot of good stuff in here, don't get me wrong, but, yeah, so, basically, I didn't even get into this season, like, what the season's about. So, essentially, the season's about Bojack is, on a TV show now, called Filbert. There's sort of a setup for this in Season 4. By the end of Season 4, he gets the job for this TV show. But anyways, the production of this TV show is sort of the focus of this season. He's the main character. It's like this sort of detective series, right? But yeah, so you follow a lot of that, and you sort of follow Bojack, sort of, you know, in previous seasons, all these seasons, it always deals with sort of Bojack's sort of search for happiness, his trying to adjust to, like, life as, you know, well, finding happiness and trying to adjust with, like, having his terrible things he's done in the past and really trying to fix himself and be a better person. And this season kind of exemplifies that a lot. Like, he's, like, I don't know, it's hard to describe. So the character of Bojack, I feel like, doesn't go through enough in this season. In certain points he does, but, like, I don't know, like, the conclusion of the season I felt wasn't as strong as the other ones. So, you know what? I'm just gonna get into spoilers. I don't even care. Like, if you haven't seen it and you want to see, and you're thinking about seeing it, just go see it. Like, there's no reason not to. It's still as good as the other seasons, but not as good, but still really good. I still don't know where I would rank it with the other seasons, but no, like the ending was, like, the end result of the whole season for the character of Bojack was he goes to rehab for his drug issues that he has. And that to me didn't feel right. Not that the character shouldn't go to rehab, because obviously he's addicted to drugs. Yes, if you're addicted to drugs, you probably should go to rehab. That's not my issue with it. It's more like this was like the big final thing, like, ooh, he finally decided he needs to do something, which I guess the idea was he's finally like, okay, you know what, I've recognized my issue, I've done things to try to fix it, but like now he's like really actively taking steps to fix the problem and let other people help him fix his problem. Let other people help him, let other people in to kind of help him. And that's sort of a strong point of this season, I think, too, is him letting people in, because he's always had this thing where, like, he knows the problems he has and stuff, but he doesn't want to sort of let other people help him. He's like, I can handle it on my own, kind of thing. So I guess that's sort of the idea of it. He's like, I'm finally letting other people help. But to me, it just felt like that to me is such a cliche thing to have as like a big moment at like the end of a season or something like that. Is like, ooh, they're going to rehab now. Whoa, that's like the big thing. I don't know. Feels like a cheap ending. I don't know why. It's just the way I feel. But no, there are genuinely some strong episodes in this season. Especially my all-time favorite episode of the season is episode 6. So Bojack's mom dies, right? And I guess like this episode is like the funeral, and he's giving his eulogy, and that's literally the entire episode is him standing there talking at his mother's funeral. Sounds like it'd be a boring episode, like really that's all it is just him there talking about his mom. But no, it's actually really good and entertaining. It's funny too, like some of the he's like making jokes while talking at his mom's funeral, but at the same time he's just constantly trying to rationalize things. And it's almost like you can tell his like coping mechanism is just talking about this and like just letting it all out, and like the way he does it, it's really good. I would definitely suggest that. That's one that I would show like a quick clip from, just to show you, kind of give you an idea of what it's like. It's a really good episode. If you don't want to watch the whole season for whatever reason, and you just want to watch like standout moments, watch that entire episode. I mean, because the interesting thing is that episode could easily be taken like just watched alone without the rest of the season, and it would stand well on its own. Like, it doesn't need the rest of the season to hold it up, kind of. Whereas, like, you know, some of the other episodes obviously do. Other strong episodes, I guess episode 11, which is usually one of the strongest episodes of each season. Those are like the big, like the ones where it gets really, those are usually the darkest episodes. So episode 11 of this season, interestingly enough, is another sort of drug trip episode. So he sort of, Bojack is using a lot of drugs. Like I said, by the end he has to go to rehab and stuff, so he's getting pretty heavily into them. And it's an interesting episode because it sort of like mixes the show that he's on, Filbert, and the real life, like his real life. Like, it's like all confused, and he like starts feeling like people are conspiring against him, and he's like trying to solve it like a mystery like he does on the show. But then there are scenes where it like kind of shifts between the show and like his life, real life, and it's like it's so interesting. I love that. That was actually a really good episode. It really, you kind of really get this confusion of like, wait, which one's like going on, and really good episode. And that's another thing I've noticed so far there's been 3 like total just drug trip episodes, right? Season 1 episode 11, season 3 episode 11, and now season 5 episode 11. So that's an interesting thing I'm thinking about. Like, it's like every odd numbered season episode, the 11th episode of every odd numbered season so far has been a drug trip episode. Like, I don't know, like, it's just weird to me. Like, did they do that on purpose? I feel like they did. I don't know. It's kind of a cool little thing. So that episode is really good, episode 11. I can't think of any other really strong ones, except maybe episode 2. Episode 2, so this is an interesting new development that happens in this season. I wasn't expecting, but, you know, because, like, at the end of season 4, Diane and Mr. Peanut Butter are kind of having issues in their marriage, right? But I was expecting this season to dive into that more and have them, like, really work on resolving it, like they have before in the show. They've done that a lot. Their sort of relationship is always, like, having issues in every season or whatever. But they straight up, right at the beginning of the show, those two are divorced. And I was like, I did not expect that. And they never get back together throughout the whole season. And by the end, Mr. Peanut Butter proposes to somebody else. That was kind of a... I don't know, like I liked those two together. I mean, even though they had issues in their marriage, like I think the moments where they were good together were really good, and you know, so it was kind of heartbreaking to see them, I don't know, just be divorced. But episode 2 sort of goes through the whole thing, goes through the whole divorce thing, and goes through how Diane sort of does this thing where she becomes so depressed she just has to get out of there and leave, and she goes all the way to wherever it's called, the place she's from, Vietnam. There we go. She goes all the way to Vietnam because that's like where her family's from. She never like grew up there or anything, but like her background is there, and just to get away from things, and like it goes through her kind of time there. That was a pretty good episode. Oh, another solid episode that I just remembered that I wasn't going to mention before is episode, I want to say 8. I believe it was 8, possibly 9. I genuinely can't remember if it was 8 or 9. But this one focuses on Mr. Peanut Butter a lot. And it focuses on all of his previous marriages that he's had, and his current, like, new girlfriend that he has after he divorced Diane. So, like, it's a Halloween episode, and it keeps cutting between, like, a Halloween that he had, 4 separate Halloweens, like the current Halloween that's happening. And they have like this Halloween party that's at Bojack's house every year that Mr. Peanut Butter has, even though Bojack doesn't want him to have a party at his house, but he does anyways. It's a kind of a funny little thing they have in there. But anyways, so like they have, they keep cutting between like him going to this Halloween party with his wife, his first wife back in like the later 90s, I think. And then like his next wife, second wife, they keep cutting to that in like a year that was in like early 2000s, and then, you know, when he was, before he married Diane, when they were still just dating, and like in like 2009 I think the year was supposed to be, and then the current Halloween that it is happening in that episode. Like it keeps cutting between the 4 and like contrasting and comparing them, and sort of you get an interesting idea of why Mr. Peanut Butter's relationships have never worked out, despite how much he tries to make them work, because he's like genuinely like a lovable guy who just wants to love the person that he's with. But it, like his relationships, they always end up failing, and you kind of learn why, and it's really interesting. A really interesting look at that. So that was a standout episode. So yeah, standout episodes was episode 2, episode 6, episode, which one was that I just mentioned? I think 8. It may be 9, but I'm pretty sure it's 8. And then episode 11. Those are by far the big standouts. There's another big thing. Oh yeah, in episode 11, the drug trip episode, it does end with one of the most shocking things that Bojack's ever done, which is when he's on all these drugs, he actually starts freaking assaulting and strangling his co-star on the show, which was just a very intense moment. But anyways, yeah, so those are the real standout episodes. So yeah, overall, this is a pretty decent season. It doesn't sidetrack a lot. There's not too much sidetracking in this episode. Like in season 3, I remember there was a couple episodes where I felt like it was sidetracking a little bit, where it was like, hey, come on, stay focused on the main story, but it kind of like sidetracked to something else. I mean, they were all still good episodes, but this one actually stays pretty focused. Yeah, so yeah, definitely a good addition to the Bojack Horseman series and the Bojack Horseman story. The series has been great since the start, and it's still pretty great. Again, I don't think it's the best season, not as good as some of the other ones. I mean, maybe when I rewatch it, I'll like it more and appreciate it more. But based on just my first watch, which I did binge watch the whole thing literally straight in one day, the day it came out. So, you know, maybe it's just watching the whole thing in one day was just too much or something. I don't know. Maybe I should spread my watching of it out a little bit. Who knows? But, yeah, so if you, my general thoughts on it are, it's a good addition. Not the best, but still pretty dang enjoyable, and again, has, you know, some good moments and stuff, especially that 6th episode, the eulogy episode. That was something special that I did not expect, and that really hit hard. So that's all. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think of this sort of setup that I have in this video. It was just something I'm trying out, this freaking computer here. Because I thought, I don't know, the green screen I tried once where I had, like, just the picture in the background of the green screen. I feel like that's maybe a little bit too much. I think I like having just, like, a little computer monitor with a picture on it instead. I don't know how I feel about that. This is a little bit more of a laid-back video anyways. Who knows? I don't know. I'm still trying to rework things with this channel, so who knows? Let me know in the comments what you think of that. So, yeah, that's about all. So, thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.